up? I was going to say happy Thursday, but it is not Thursday yet. It's Thursday Eve. I'm only 4 minutes late, a couple weeks late on a show. Money's Munaf is joining me, my fellow NBA sharp. If you guys didn't see, I hit an NBA parlay last night. Pretty fucking big deal over here. Might switch sports up on everyone. What's going on, Munaf?
Yeah, you're the NBA sharp now. I'm going to follow your picks there. So we'll get to talk about multiple sports now instead of just NFL. But yeah, almost the weekend, like you'd like to tip off on Thursdays, but we're getting there. It's hump day.
The thing with not betting NBA consistently, we're going to talk about consistently. Is like I was not aware that Klay Thompson is like a geriatric patient now. Like he is like really unbearable to watch play basketball.
Yeah, he's I don't know. I don't know. There's something wrong in between the ears that I don't think is something right with Klay.
That's saying it nicely. He's also slow, as my grandma would say, molasses.
Maybe it's what transpired in Golden State, or maybe, yeah, it was probably like an ugly breakup that happened with the Golden State Warriors there. So maybe that's still messing with his mentals, but I've stopped betting on Klay, but you learned the hard way, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I always have to get cute when I do NBA. Like there were so many other ways to do it, and I had to pick assist. Like what was I doing? We don't need to do that.
I'm like you didn't take the threes on him because you like your 3-point props.
I know, but I usually just do that with like Kyrie or KD because I have a problem. All right, let's talk about Thursday Night Football. 49ers 3-point favorites at home versus the Rams. Had a nice little win against the Bills, 44-42. They've won 2 in a row versus San Francisco. What are you thinking here? Total's at 49.5.
I think I like the San Francisco side here. Home teams on Thursday Night Football have been really, really good. I think it's 12-4 straight up. I think it's like 11-5 ATS are home teams, but I think they've won 9 straight games, have home teams on Thursday Night Football. You talk about the travel situation, but it's not really a big of a travel situation for the Rams going from LA to San Francisco. But I think a lot of people, including myself, I counted this team out. I thought the Bears would keep it close last week against the Niners, but they absolutely blew their doors off. I think since this game is at home for the Niners, short week, even with all the injuries, I think they find a way to get it done. I agree with Trevor. I don't know who the hell their starting quarterback's going to be. I've been waiting for that news.
Who the fuck are the running backs? That's my question.
I'm hoping it's Patrick Taylor because I want to like smash his rushing props, but I do like the Niners side here. I think they get it done. If they want to lay the 3, I think there might be 2.5 juice out there, but I would just play it on the money line. I think the Niners get the victory.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know why, and it's so stupid, and this is just me. I cannot fully buy into this Rams team the way that everyone is. Like, I just am not buying it for some reason. Like, I think the allure of Cooper Kupp and Puka is making everyone think this team is like much better than they are. I think their defensive line has played really well this year as well. There's been some bright spots there, but I don't know. I'm not buying it. If they go in and they kick San Francisco's ass, maybe I'll change my mind here. But you look at San Francisco, they're 9-5 straight up when facing a team they lost to earlier that year. I don't know. What is it about the Rams? I know I'm like the only person, but I can't do it. Like I cannot do it. The secondary's not there for me. There's so many holes. Like it's just not, I know it's fun, but I don't have fun watching them. I'm not having fun other than Puka.
I think it's just the fact that they're healthy. Like beginning of the season, like you mentioned, like Puka was missing and Cooper Kupp missed some time. Karen Williams has been in and out of that lineup, but they have all 3 guys on the field. And when they have all 3 of those guys on the field, like we see what their offense is capable of doing.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay's still a very smart head coach. And I like you mentioned, it's just defensively, can they stop, San Francisco? And I think the one area the Niners have really struggled in the season has been the red zone, right? I think you and I have talked about that. It's crazy how much without Christian McCaffrey they've suffered a little bit, but Yeah, I think this will be the game we find out about how legitimate the Rams are, if they can maybe make a run for the NFC West or even get a playoff spot in that NFC. I mean, look, a lot of people have counted the Niners out. Obviously, they need a lot of help and they need to win out, but I don't think that window is closed or that door is closed just yet for the Niners for the playoffs, but we'll see.
And I'll be honest, this is the first year that I haven't been as good about like going back and rewatching games. And San Francisco is one of the teams I have very much chosen to skip over. Like I have not watched a lot of the 49ers like at a whole this year. But I do think the way that these teams match up, I just think Purdy could have a lot of success against this Rams secondary, especially the way like we've seen Purdy, like he can really tear up a secondary if they have some weaknesses there. I don't know. This game is, I think there's more exciting games on the slate as far as props go, but jumping into them, I know you brought up Patrick Taylor. I think I could play running back if Shanahan was the coach. He finds a way to just make it happen with anyone. Patrick Taylor is an old friend of mine that has won me money in the past. There was like 3 weeks last year that his rushing yards was like set at like 8.5, 10.5, and he hit every single week, and it was fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see what they set that at. All I've done with him, because there is no line out unless you saw it and I didn't see it yet. I took his anytime touchdown at minus 125. He got into the end zone last week. I think the first touchdown is interesting too. First half was plus 400. But he's going to get the work here. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Isaac. I'm not even going to pretend to say his last name, but I think that's the direction I'm going to go. And then whenever a rushing line, maybe a longest rush type situation, but I think I just landed on the anytime touchdown for him.
Yeah, I just checked again. There's nothing really out for him quite yet. So I think we probably get that either on Thursday when we get the Garindo news, if he's going to be able to go or not. But that's the one I'm waiting on. This might be a little bit contrarian, but I do like Matthew Stafford to go under his passing yards in this game. The number's starting to come down a little bit. I saw it around 244.5. DraftKings has it down to 240.5. See some 242s out there as well. But I think the one underrated part of this Niners defense this season has actually been their pass defense. And you take a look at the quarterbacks that they've faced this season. It's been a first place schedule, obviously, but they've only allowed 2 quarterbacks to have 240 or more passing yards this season. That was Dak Prescott back in week 8. And then all the way back in week 2, Sam Darnold was the other guy. But you take a look at recently, Baker 116, Geno 221, Jordan Love 163, Josh Allen, I know that was the snow game, 152, and then last week 140 to Caleb Williams. So I think they rely heavily on Kyren Williams this game because their rush defense has not been very good. So that was when I really did like Matthew Stafford to go under his passing yards in this game.
I like it. Just going, even when you look at metrics for both of these teams, like San Francisco hasn't been horrible this year. They're definitely better on paper than the Rams have been. Stafford to throw an interception. Listen,
prime time.
Death, taxes, and Stafford interception. We weren't getting a number that was interesting. I saw it moved a little bit. It's minus 120 now. He's had 4 straight games without one. Yeah, no, that's too many here in prime time. Prior to that, he threw 6 straight. So for me, that's easy. Once the books stop being fucking cowards, we will figure out who exactly is going to record that interception for us. But they have yet to put those up. But I think a lot of this game is also going to come down to San Francisco's D line and that Rams O line. So if they can get pressure on Stafford, I think they can find a lot of success here.
I think, what was it? We talked about Josh Allen when we did a show because he hadn't thrown an interception yet. And that next week, I think it was against the Seahawks. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that he finally threw that interception. So maybe Stafford breaks a streak here in this game.
Yeah. He's definitely breaking it. Or it will be in 2 weeks. So, and I'll just be pissed off because I finally bet it again. You used to be able to get Stafford at plus money to throw an interception. Yeah. And then they started getting fucking popular because all the little dweebs started ruining all the good things about betting. And now the numbers are not as nice. But minus 120 is the best one that I've seen in quite some time for Stafford here.
Yeah.
What's another prop you're looking at?
So George Kittle has been balling. I know you and I love our longest reception to go over. QR code coming soon. 22.5 is the number for George Kittle. It just and I go back to when Brock Purdy took over as a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Like him and Kittle have just found this type of like chemistry, whatever the case might be. But you take a look at this season. Let's just go even the last 5 games. I'm not going to ramble off all the numbers, but last 5 weeks, he's had a reception of 31 yards or more, longest reception, I should say, of 31 yards or more. Last week against the Bears, Packers, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and then the Chiefs as well. The only week he didn't do it was that snow game against Buffalo. So, you talked about how bad the secondary is for the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is a game where George Kittle gets up and over his longest reception. I think the number's 22.5. I think he smashes this, gets another 30-yarder for us. Hopefully we get this to the window early enough to sweat it later.
Yeah, I hate to brag, but I got it at 20.5 when it opened. So sorry, guys. You didn't jump in on that early enough. I'm with you. You kind of stated all the facts for me. I think I still saw 21.5 at -110 somewhere. I want to say BetMGM probably. I did not.
So that or FanDuel. So they always have like loose lines on those longest ones.
And you know what I bet for him too is I actually bet him to go over the 30 as well. He's done that in 5 of the last 6. Yeah. He's only not gone over the 21.5 mark in 3 games this year. So I think that he can absolutely go over this number.
Caesars, Bet365, and BetMGM has 21.5.
Look at that. It's not the 20.5 that I got, but it's fine.
Thanks for moving the line though. But whatever.
Yeah, I got you guys. Then staying with longest reception, Jennings.
Yeah,
I don't know. Makes sense. For some reason, I don't love it. I think he'll find his way into like a longest reception parlay, and I'll just add him at like the 20. He's only gone over, it's set at 23.5 at -115, 113. He's gone over 3 of the last 5. I'm going back with what to do with Debo, because I could see the Rams trying to take Jennings out of the equation, and then maybe we get the Debo game that he's been whining and complaining about. So yeah. I kind of stayed away from that one. As far as the other side, Tutu Atwell does not have a line out yet. That will be one that I look for, especially with the other kind of like straggling wide receivers. That's so mean on that team being out. I didn't mean it like that, but whatever the fuck that, you know what I'm talking about. Not the two-headed monster that is Kupp and Puka. As far as the 2 of them, I like Kupp to go over that 20.5 longest reception. That's the lowest I've seen it set at in a couple weeks. 3 of the last 4, he's gone over 7 out of his 9 games. And he's also one that I'm going to take for a 30-yard as well. 30-yarder. Did we decide that was a word or not, everyone? I think we decided it's a word on the show.
Yeah, on this show, we'll make it a word for sure.
Okay, great.
I was trying to see the latest injury report for the Niners, but they still have questionable tags on Isaac Garindo. We'll see. We're gonna have to wait till Thursday, honestly, which is freaking annoying.
It's so annoying.
What else did I like? You mentioned Cooper Kupp. I like his receptions to go over.
Yeah.
It's heavily juiced, but you take a look at, it's funny that he hasn't played against the Niners since the 2022 season. So he didn't play against him last season. He didn't play in the matchup earlier this season. But last 4 head-to-head meetings against the Niners, 11 receptions, 7 receptions, 14 receptions, 8 receptions. So 5.5 was the number. Was a little bit juiced at -137. I'm sure it's like all the way up to -145, -150. If you want to play it straight or add it to your same game parlay, I do like Cooper Kupp to have a nice week here for the Rams offense. It's honestly like it's just those 2 guys. It's Cooper Kupp, it's Puka Nacua, and like you mentioned, that everybody else, if they find a way to get involved in the game, they do. But I know Stafford is really going to throw it to those 2 guys. So I did like Cooper Kupp on his receptions this week.
Another player that I have some type of like, I just can't. I don't know why I can't bet him, and it's so stupid. But Puka, he's just not someone I bet. Like for really no reason. I think he's a nice kid, but I don't know why. I just can't do it. I think it's because everyone's so obsessed with him. I can't do it. it feels like everyone's going to ruin it every single week. So but I still like Cup, especially after like a really big Puka week, even though it feels like every week is a big Puka week these days.
It's like all the value's gone from him, like because he's like crushing the numbers, right?
Yeah,
Like, and the books have to adjust.
Like his longest reception's probably it probably opened at like 26, 27 or something crazy.
It's at 25.5.
That's it? Okay, fine. Yeah. I'm wrong. I'll take that one.
You didn't move the line on that one. That's a problem.
I didn't touch it because I wouldn't. Debo got brought up. I didn't even see. What did he do on social media?
Like, the usual. He was just complaining about
wow.
And then I think I don't know, whatever the AI bullshit is or whatever they like respond if it's not an accurate statement. And I think the response was, he's actually sucked. He has the most drops on the 49ers this season.
It's really funny. Some of those like community notes are.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I saw the funniest one today. I actually can't. I'm gonna send it to you later. I can't say it out loud, but it was fucking hilarious today. Anyways, Debo, yes, bring up the drops. I know we were texting about this a little bit, but
yeah,
I just went straight to the rushing yards here. It's at 15.5 minus 113. He's only cleared this once this season. And you even brought that up to me. And I think right there, I'm already attracted to that. He went over this week 1 and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit safer than throwing him the ball if he's having a drop problem. I took a look at his receptions, 4.5. I don't know. It could go either way there. I think the rushing and receiving is interesting if you do think that Debo is going to be reliable in getting some passes. It's 67.5. So I don't hate that because I do think he could have one of those big little rush weeks, especially with who knows what at running back.
Yeah. I think that if Isaac Orindo is out, I think you'll see him lined up in the backfield just because they're just depleted there. And I think I sent this to you that for the 9 games in his career, he's gone over this number of, 15.5 against the Rams. So there's definitely a possibility. And, if he's not catching the football, how do you get him involved? Line him up in the backfield, get him a couple tosses, handoffs, whatever, get him involved that way. So
yeah,
I really couldn't talk to you. I mean, this could be a sneaky, honestly, like an alt play for his rushing yards if they are offering that one. So
yeah,
another way
I saw
to get
25 plus. So I was like, I'm not going to get cute. This is where I start getting too cute. I get cute with the longest receptions. I can't get cute with this. So the 15.5 feels very safe. Not safe. I hate saying that. I just jinxed it. He's not going to get a single fucking rush attempt now. But yeah, I think with Debo, that's the way I'm going. I've seen people. I wouldn't knock anyone for taking the receptions or receiving because usually when these guys complain, they end up getting fed the next week anyways. The only other thing that I looked at in this game, like I said, I know we just rattled off a bunch, but I wasn't in love with a lot. Purdy's longest rush, if you wanted to play his rushing yards, the rushing yards line is like a little bit too high for me, but I think he could easily, rip off one of these 10.5, 9.5 little rushes there. That's the only other thing I looked at for this game. Was there anything else you looked at?
No, the only other one, I think you and I have talked about this a lot, that when we see some of these receivers or running backs that have a lower rush or receiving yard total, like we just want to play both, like longest reception to go over and the receiving yards to go over. I know the guy in Ricky Pearsall has not been really involved in the offense.
Don't do this to me. Don't, because I said I wasn't going to bet him, but now I'm going to bet him.
Longest reception, but his receiving yards are at 16.5.
What's his longest reception?
12.5.
Oh man.
And his receiving yards are set at 16.5.
He's not going to get
a ball. We talked about with Raheem Mostert.
He's not going to get a ball. That's what's going to happen. But I'm going to bet.
That's the problem. Yeah. Like he's going to play obviously a snap, but is he going to get targeted is the big question.
Has he done anything?
Oh God, it's been bad.
5 yards last week. 1 catch, 5 yards, I think. And then it was like a bunch of goose eggs. Yeah. I'm like visualizing it in my head, his stat chart.
He had 5 last week, and then the previous 3 weeks he had a combined 3 targets for goose eggs.
His reception's 1.5 at like plus 130 or something.
Yeah, the last game he had a really good game was that Tampa game where he scored that big touchdown for them.
What's his first touchdown? Price. Do we know? Now I'm getting out of control. See, you can't do this. You brought him up, and now I want to start betting stupid shit.
17-1.
Come on.
17-1. I'm sure there's a better number out there. Let me see.
Interesting.
Let's see. First touchdown.
Does anyone in the chat have anything we didn't bring up? I'm kind of interested.
Score touchdown. Oh, there's a 29-1 on FanDuel.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. Why not?
Yeah, 29-1. I mean, that's what golly. Everybody else is 22-1. They have it at 29-1.
A little high noon money never hurt anyone. Never hurt anyone.
There you go.
That's it for me for that game. I mean,
yeah, me too.
It's
a good game on paper, but like a lot of the props just weren't like standing out to me.
Yeah, it'll probably be a really great football game, but I think this could be one of those games where like, it could just get out of control very quickly. And then once I figure out who is going to record that interception, because I low-key have been doing pretty well with those, knock on wood. But now that I'm going to put it out there, I'll end up missing on those this week. Let's talk week 15 props, like any early ones. I don't have too many that I liked, but I was surprised how many numbers were out already. Is there anything you have already bet?
So I have already bet. What's his name? Bryce Young. Bryce Young. Yeah, Mike Williams as well. I'll get to that. Bryce Young rushing yards. I've bet 13.5 is the number. Mm-hmm. I think that little break or benching did really good for Bryce Young. He's throwing the football well. He's also actually running the football as well. So just trying to pull up the numbers here. So last 4 weeks, he's had 30, 20, 17, 29, longest rush of at least 10 yards in all 4 of those games. So I am going to play the over 13.5. I already did bet that. I'm sorry. 13.5 for his rushing yards and then his longest rush attempt. I think they didn't have that out yet. Let me double check.
That's something I'd be very interested in.
Not out yet, but I'll wait for that one. And then you mentioned the Mike Williams one with George Pickens being out. Mike Tomlin has come out and said that he's like what he's seen from Mike Williams. And if Mike Williams, we know if he's catching a pass, it's going to be a very long reception. Well, I think what I told you, like it was 14.5 for him on his longest reception.
Did you say 10.5? I could have swore you said 10.5.
Let me see.
I didn't end up going and looking at it.
Mike Williams. Yeah, 13.5 is the number.
Oh, I still
for his long reception.
I'd probably take it. I'd take it up higher than that if it was. Maybe I'll see what his number is to get.
So he's had long receptions of 15, 32, and 22. Yeah. And the games that he actually has yardage. He had one game against my Texans where he had 6 yards, but that was it. But those other games, he's had 15, 32, and 22. So, and then I think you and I talked about Lamar, and if he's not out there running, his mom is going to whoop his ass. So this number opened up at 43.5. It's already up to 46.5 and moving, but I do think that he's going to end up running the ball this week. So I did play him over 40. I think I got it at 44.5.
You think? This is going to be disgusting. This is going to be the grossest fucking game that we've seen this year. I really think they need to allow forfeiting. Like I pay a fine. I'm so fucking for real right now. They need to allow teams to forfeit because it's cruel. It's cruel. It's cruel for the fans.
You got close last week.
Tommy DeVito again, for fuck's sakes. And then I think your lock's full of shit. I think he doesn't want. I don't think anyone wants to play for this team. They're going to bring up Mr. Pimple. What's his name? Tim Boyle. Come on. I can't. What the fuck? Listen, he's got a practice squad. Then what do you do? Like, at what point do you guys just have to fucking kneel the ball, or like it's just gonna be handoff?
Here we go.
Wildcat the whole. What the fuck are they gonna do?
Type
they don't have anyone else. Is Ryan Tannehill gonna come sign for 1 week? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's nothing to. It's so bad. I don't know.
You guys see, I did a magic trick. I just made Stephie turn red within like 15 seconds there.
Sweating.
24 minutes in, that's all it took. And we had like a nice bet for this Giants game for Drew Lock as well, and that went up in flames for Drew Lock's rushing yards.
Can someone look
Take
up
a sip.
Cedric
Take a sip.
Wilson's longest reception is? It's just an energy drink. I'm not drinking as I'm going to Mexico in fucking January, so I have to cut back drinking, and it sucks. It sucks on days like this. I have something nice to say about it's not nice to say about the Giants, but Malik Neighbors is gonna probably murder John Mara himself or himself if he doesn't. I don't know. Whenever his longest reception comes out, I'm probably going to be fine with taking it. He still seems to be going over this despite them being the worst fucking team in the entire league. And if you're an insane person, which I'm not like fully this insane despite the rant I just had, his anytime touchdown at plus 255 is still like, it feels like a nice number because at some point the Ravens are probably going to take their players out. And they're probably going to be in a spot where there will be a little bit of this like nonsense going on for the Giants. And I also really need Neighbors to somehow get 3 more touchdowns before the end of the year because I have a future on it that is not going to cash.
Ooh, yeah. Best of luck on that one with the quarterback situations.
I'm not betting it. Well, I'm screwed to the future, but
yeah. I was looking for a Ravens team total over. I'm not gonna, but yeah, we'll leave that for that. So those are the ones I was looking at. I was looking for a David Njoku a receiving prop. That number's not out yet. And then I just saw Tony Pollard is dealing with an ankle injury. Didn't get to the window with that. And a lot of the other games that I do like this week. I think what was something else that we talked about? Was it for the Bears and the Vikings game?
Well, Darnold's throwing an interception.
Yeah.
If anyone cares, Stephception. He's throwing one this week. To who? I don't know yet. I'll let you know. Jacoby Myers, I don't really care
who
the
you said that.
Is. I like his longest. I don't know what Cedric Wilson. Actually, never mind. Not that, because who the fuck is the Saints quarterback? Is it Spencer Rattler or?
I think it's Jake Haener from what I saw. They just signed Ben DiNucci as well.
Okay, is it just me or this year are we making quarterbacks up? Like, I swear to God, I've never heard of half of these guys before, and all of them are suddenly like in the league.
You know Ben DiNucci. He was with the Cowboys.
No, I know Ben DiNucci.
Yeah. Jake Haener, I haven't heard of either.
That's what I'm talking. I don't know who Haener.
I don't know what the fuck.
You guys are making. Now we're making people up. I don't know who that is. Outside of that, I think that there is something to when just like Debo, AJ Brown is probably going to get his because he decided to open his mouth. He have his little diva moment. To go over 5.5 receptions is plus 115. Anytime touchdown is plus 115 as well. I was trying to make a parlay before I got on where I want to put Debo, AJ Brown, and T. Higgins into some form of a parlay. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I will post that when I figure that out, probably after the show. But they're all T. Higgins wasn't being a diva. But Burrow came out, made like a strong stance on T needing to be back. They have their boy club with Higgins and Chase just had the big game. T. Higgins didn't. I do think T. Higgins his longest reception is 22.5 minus 110. Yeah. He's gone over 4 of the last 5 by a lot. So he's also very much live for a 30-yarder. I didn't look at what his alt yards are yet, but I could very much end up seeing him go for like 120 and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns is like 12-1 if you're interested.
Who they play this week?
Titans.
I see alt numbers for him. So 70 plus is plus 105. 80 plus 155. 90 plus 220. 100 like plus is a hair above 3-1. Yeah.
It's not even great.
Chase Brown has been really good to me. He was good last week.
On fun to watch.
Yeah. I think even Zach Taylor came out today and said, like, this is exactly what we wanted from Chase Brown. I don't know why the fuck they had Zach Moss in there, splitting the backfield.
Like, fantasy football guys love Zach Moss. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
I think that's it. Some of the other numbers I was looking at weren't out yet. I mean, do we just automatically just bet Jameis Winston overs, like over pass completions, attempts, yards, interceptions?
All of it? Yeah, probably. Probably. What about is Adam? Whatever Adam Thielen's longest, I like that.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Xavier Legette, I like that.
Oh yeah, he dropped that one last week that cost that guy, or
I think Albenza scored a touchdown because of that. Run it back.
Xavier Legette.
Run it
They
back.
have Cowboys this week, right?
Yes.
Not out yet. They're
so annoying.
Receiving yards out yet, but not like longest reception out yet.
What about who the Dolphins have again? Oh, I can't think of it.
They got my Texans.
Oh yeah, there we go. What do we think about that game? And then I'll start wrapping up here.
So I like the fact that we're coming off of the bye week. I like the fact that Will Anderson should be back. I like the fact that Christian Harris could be back. And I think that week off just really helped CJ Stroud. I know he was a little bit frustrated with the interceptions and the turnovers that he was having. It also gives Nico Collins another week to rest up and him just coming out and being a monster again. So, I mean, we go back to the usual Nico Collins over receiving yards, longest reception. I think you take that up to like 35, 40 plus if the book allows you to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's been crushing it.
I love him.
I do like them this week to get it done. So this is a big week. That Broncos and the Colts game, it's pretty essentially a playoff game, because if the Broncos win that game, I think it increases their chances tremendously to getting a AFC wild card spot. But if the Texans win and the Colts lose, we clinch AFC South.
Wait, say that one more time.
So Texans win this week, and if the Colts lose, we clinch the division. Yeah,
that's exciting.
So,
I heard rumblings of people starting to bet Colts win the division, which I think is like just kind of out of reach a little bit.
I think because it's based on the Texans' schedule. We have the Dolphins this week, and then we have the Ravens. We have Dolphins, we have the Chiefs, and then we have the Ravens, and then we close it out with the Titans, because the Colts have a very easy schedule after the Broncos this week. So they have the Broncos, Titans, Giants, and Jags. So they possibly could go 3-1.
I feel like the Colts do weird shit at the end of every season, and like this is a game that they do end up winning.
What do you think about Ravens for the division?
I thought you were going to bring up the Ravens Giants game, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong?" Ravens for the division.
I see like plus 180s, plus 200s out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what would have to happen? Don't the Steelers have a hard
Steelers have and that's like the whole conversation, right? Like the Steelers have after this week. Well, they actually not including this week. They have the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. And Baltimore has.
The Bengals are so dead.
I still think they could. In their minds, I think they still think they can win out. And then the Baltimore Ravens have obviously the Giants. That Steelers game next week, and they have Texans and Browns left, which is not easy.
I mean, I guess I don't know. My thing is the Steelers defense is just so good, and I think people are not realizing and like taking that into account when they're talking about the Steelers, not you specifically, but. Like this is the type of defense that can win a championship. Like that defense is legit. Like there are so many pieces to like there. If their offense catches up to the speed and strength of their defense, which it hasn't been bad by any means, I think the Steelers are a little bit of a sneakier team in the playoffs, not a team that you want to see in the playoffs. I don't hate it.
I think
the Ravens like to drop stupid games too.
Like this week.
Oh, and is the Ravens Texans? That's
Ravens Texans. That's
right?
On Christmas Day.
Because you guys lost to them in the playoffs, correct?
Lost them in the playoffs. Lost to them last year, week 1 in Baltimore. First start for CJ. I think the only reason I kind of like the Ravens for the division is because George Pickens not being out there for at least a few weeks. I think that's that true. Offense looked very anemic last week, so that's the only. Yeah, I mean, not the only reason why I don't like Steelers to finish it up, but it's
I don't hate
Mike
it.
Tomlin. Yeah, it's Mike Tomlin.
I certainly do not hate it, and I feel like too. We know the Steelers like they are kind of like an injury or not. Sorry, I hate to say that, injury or two, and then it's like we might be talking about a different team, kind of.
That's true. They need to save Lamar's legs.
I do really just want them to beat the Eagles this week, though. If the Steelers can do that, the Ravens can have the division. Because I don't care otherwise. I need Eagles fans to drive me crazy a little bit.
Eagles fans, don't even get me started. We'll be here for another couple hours.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. We 100% will. Do you think that the Eagles win that game, though?
Against the Steelers?
Yeah.
I think after everything that's transpired about AJ Brown and stuff, I think they come out and win this game. Just to kind of shut up the critics. They're in Philly too, right? So I mean, they've been pretty good at home as well. Yeah. I feel like the Steelers team, I think last week was a little bit fraudulent just because they went up against Jameis and he's good for at least one interception at minimum.
That's baseline. Like anywhere from 1 to 5.
That's like his foundation. Like, yeah. So like they're gonna get one for sure off of him. I don't know. I think Eagles find a way to get it done though. After they almost got beat by the Panthers last week, I think they come out a little bit more focused. I hate to say
I am not like mentally ready for the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl because
they're not going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to hear. Great.
They're not.
Any other games on the week 15 slate that you want to touch on before we move forward?
No, we talked about it. Anything else? Oh, what about Bills Lions? Maybe Super Bowl preview?
I don't know what to think of that game. Part of me thinks the Lions win. Part of me thinks Dan Campbell's ballsy moves fuck up the game. But the Bills
tweeted this out the fourth down's not even going for, like on his own territory. I hope that doesn't catch up to him in the playoffs. And like that's the difference between them winning and losing a playoff game.
I've been saying this fucking shit since before the season, like that was what was going to happen. And I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But again, also they don't win some of the games if he isn't as aggressive as he is. So there's it's a balance. Like I think that there is something to it, but I could totally see it going the wrong way one of these times. Do you think the Bills at all, like, was it a little bit, it wasn't really a little bit, but like they had to be thinking about this Lions game.
It was last week was, I think, a very tough scheduling spot for them.
Yeah.
So that snow game, that was a game that they clinched the division. It was a snow game. You get to the West Coast, you're in LA, you got some sunshine, maybe a little bit hungover. You're in LA, you know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now you have to travel to Detroit here. Maybe they were looking ahead to this game. Who knows? I think like if the Bills win this game, like you can ensure that Josh Allen is MVP this season. Unless, I mean, odds say otherwise, but I think this is a game where he just comes out and cements himself as the MVP for this season. Which, of course, this is the season I don't bet on to be MVP, but that's a different conversation.
Of course, that's how it works here. I don't know. I think I don't know what I lean in that game. I lean whatever props I'm betting on, which I'm done with Sam Laporta, in case anyone was wondering.
Slot wide receiver, who is it? I think it's Khalil Shakir, isn't it, for the Bills?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be betting on him. His yardage.
I could see him. Nice little 100 plus outline there. I like it. Any last things before I let you get out of here?
No, that's all I got, unless you have anything else.
No, that's it. That's it for me. Be back on Friday, probably 4 p.m. We'll call it that. It'll probably end up being 5. Hi, Rye. No, Trevor, I'm not going to bring up Dalton Kincaid. It was my worst call of the year. I do not want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about Dalton Kincaid. He is dead to me. And that's about it. Like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. Any thoughts, Rye, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on a real quick prop. I wanted to get Munaf's take at least, so yours too.
Fuck me, right? Jeez, all right. Yeah, Munaf, go ahead, take the show.
It's hard you've got the prop machine next to you, Steph. I'm sorry.
Money's Munaf.
She's the NBA sharp now, Ryan. So.
I am.
Yeah, okay, so Trey McBride,
mm-hmm.
He had 15 targets, 12 targets,
mm-hmm.
and then like 4 targets last week against the Seahawks. Really fell off. I feel like this is a bounce back game for him and against the Patriots, and he hasn't caught a touchdown pass yet this season. He's been one of the most productive tight ends in the league, hasn't caught a touchdown pass. He's rushed for a touchdown, but not caught one. I feel like he's overdue for a anytime touchdown catch here.
What's the
So let's see here. 1, 2,
Number is like
3,
plus
4, 5,
200. I'm seeing it at.
Why
So a
did it start
tight end
taking
has
forever?
scored against the Patriots in 4 of the last 6 games.
Okay, there you go.
Tight ends have.
A tight end has against the Patriots. And then that Johnny
Ooh,
Smith
even better.
game. 9 for 87. I think it's a bounce back week for him after what transpired last week. Ugh.
Oh, it's so dirty. I can't even talk about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about my Cardinals, everybody. That was ugly. All right.
We'll make
Is
them
that
get
it?
I'm not gonna put the knife in any deeper because I had the Cardinals. Don't get me started.
I'm in on the Trey McBride touchdown. I bet it last week, I think. I will keep betting it until he gets one, because why not?
That's where I'm at too,
Why
because it's rough. You don't want to be the one week that you don't bet it that he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's always a week where you don't bet something and it ends up happening, you just want to jump off a cliff.
Yeah, that happens to Terrell with Theo Johnson. He was on him every week, and I told him, I'm like, you bet it one more week. I'm telling you, one more week, and he didn't bet it, and it hit. You never want that. But let's get out of here. Tomorrow is the weekend. I appreciate. I can't even speak. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you on Friday.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.